Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Yo Kids podcast. Before we begin, of course, be sure to make sure that you check out homeschoolyourkidsexpo.com to check out our traveling schedule for this year. We have some really dope places that we are stopping in, and we are more than likely coming to a city near you. So be sure to check out our schedule and all the other lovely resources that we have on our website. And big shout out to our sponsors who are ensuring that this is not a journey you have to take alone. Remember, homeschooling is not to be done alone. It is better with a tribe, with a village, with a community. So be sure to seek the people who are for you. So special shout outs to Classical Conversations who provides curriculum and also support. And also big shout out to a new app called Basecamp Ad. Basecamp Ed. Basecamp Ed. They are a community-driven resource that ensures that homeschool families are available or able to set up like meetups and events and things of that nature all on through their app. So be sure to check it out. It's free to download. So do that. Okay, and so today we have with us Jalisa. Jalisa, introduce yourself.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. First and foremost, I want to say this is such an amazing podcast and an amazing platform, so I absolutely appreciate it. Yes, my name is Jaleesa Smith, and I am the owner and founder of Friends of Cabrini. We are an online platform where homeschoolers and unschoolers alike can take online classes and learning about just about any topic they're interested in learning. So anything from math, ELA to geography, culinary, we have all of that, foreign languages, everything you can possibly think of. We also offer tutoring as well, and that is also open to private and public school students around the country as well. So I've been an educator now for quite some time. And then in my former life before that, I worked in politics. So I worked for a couple of well known folks you might know of locally in the Chicago, Illinois area. So yeah, that's my spiel. I've been a homeschooler now for 11 years. So this is our 11th year now, and it's been great. It's been a ride.
Oh, nice. So you did politics in a former life, and you also said you've been an educator for a while. Were you in the classroom at some point?
So now, currently, I actually am in the classroom.
Okay.
I am teaching for Math Circles of Chicago. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but I do teach at Math Circles as well. And then, of course, I teach online for homeschoolers and unschoolers. So, yes, yeah,
Okay.
it's been fun.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure. So let's talk about the homeschooling. What brought you to homeschooling?
My son, really honestly, my son, we started out when he was very little. My mom had passed like very early on in my son's life. And so something that I noticed that she had did with my son was she got him to count when he was like at that infant stage, and he was able to do that at 1 years old and things. And after my mom passed, I was like, I don't want to lose this, you know? So at that time, I didn't know that this was actually a thing. I was just thinking like, oh, this is just being a good parent, you know, good mom. So I had my son counting, and then started trying to work with him on developing his words and things. The numbers came first. Talking and doing the words came a little bit later. But I was able to get him to start reading and recognizing words by the time he was 2. So it is possible. I know a lot of people say like, oh, you can't homeschool a kid at 1 and whatnot, but you actually can. You'd be surprised. The things that you expose them to. And I think like if your child shows you early on that they're ready for that, then just kind of guide them and go with them. Don't push it right too much on them, but if they show you some things, then absolutely. So that's kind of how we got started. It was an accident. I like to say it was accidental.
Accidental. So, okay, mom, grandma has set up like a little system, and you said, "Oh my gosh, my baby is smart already. Mama been
Yeah.
working with him, so I want to make sure I continue this." What made you not want to put him in traditional school?
So we actually did
Okay.
as well. We did try. It's a program called Head Start. I don't know
Oh
if
yeah.
it around the country or whatnot, but we did try the Head Start program when he was about 3. And I noticed then at 3 years old, like he was doing things that the other students weren't able to do. And some of those students had been in the classroom at least like a year or longer than he was. And so from there, I was just kind of like, well, I think I'm going to keep, doing this because my son was able to write his name and he understood like the alphabets, letters, things of that nature, brief words like to, from, the, those kind of words that a lot of your typical like 3, 4, and 5 year olds probably wouldn't know at that point in time. And just seeing how I want to say how early childhood education was kind of being treated very early on in his life, I was just kind of like, I don't want to really leave him and entrust him here, without me doing anything. And so I did. I just kept working with him. Have tried it off and on. I will say we've tried it off and on throughout the years, but we normally don't last past like 3 weeks, to tell you the truth.
Really?
No, this year we tried earlier, this fall we tried, or last fall we tried to do like a little run at it. And my son was just like, oh, let's try it. And it did not work. There's like so much with bullying in the schools here, especially in the public schools in Chicago. It's insane. Their students are not really learning a lot. So the things that I kind of ran into over the years was either that it's going to be an issue with bullying or it's not going to be quality education, right? A lot of teachers, they don't know how to teach gifted students. They kind of teach them all the same. And so that was an issue that we ran into as well. But I found that homeschooling just kind of worked best for us. Again, every time that we tried to make a run at it, again, it was nothing past like 2 or 3 weeks. And we just kind of decided this time, like, no more testing it out, no more trying to see. Our life has really kind of shifted us in this direction. And the more we continue to grow and go through life, we just kind of continue to find out this is definitely for us. It's kind of
Yeah,
like when you hear God talking to you, just listen. You can try to steer away from it, but He's going to bring you right back in alignment, right? So,
every time.
yeah, so I think we have been definitely brought into alignment, and this is it.
Gotcha, gotcha. No, when you were talking about how he was in preschool, as far as being advanced, and that's what the first thing I thought, okay, so he would be considered gifted.
Right.
And typically gifted children in the traditional school setting are the ones who are ignored the most because they're gifted. Like, it's like, oh, okay, they're on level, above level rather. So we don't have to pay that much attention to them. So
Yeah.
I could definitely see the concern and just let him settle in a space where he would not be pushed.
Yeah, one of the things that I don't know if they still do it now because we're out of that early childhood stage now. But one of the things that I saw a lot was like teachers would encourage the parents to have their children reading 20 minutes a day. And to me personally, I just feel like, well, 20 minutes is easy, right? But if you want your kids to retain information and you want them to understand the phonics and the sounds, you kind of got to go a little bit more than 20 minutes. And so we would homeschool in the afternoon, like after I take them from that place, and I'd say maybe like from 2 to maybe 5, we're just learning. And then I started to see my son would ask questions about other things that he would see. So I would say, well, okay, we don't have to stop directly at 5, we can just keep talking and keep learning. And so it just kind of became an ongoing thing with us. He learned how to develop his words very well, very early on. Again, he was really good with numbers in the very beginning, but he struggled with words because he had somewhat of like a speech impediment. And so for me, it was really important to just kind of get that diction and everything down pat. And so I worked with him a lot with that at first. And then that, of course, turned into him actually being able to recognize words. And then we move into sight words and reading and so forth. So I would just recommend, reading is number one, right? Especially at like 3, 4, and 5. I think it's so important to have books in front of your kids and then model that for them. I think my son saw me reading things to him, so he was able to find that interest. And then making sure your kids have books that they enjoy. At that time, he was really into like Thomas and Friends, the little cartoon characters. So I made sure I got like books with Thomas in there and a little bit of Mickey Mouse and Sesame Street and things like that. And then he's grown into comics, and now we're reading things like I have this couple of books for me with me, but reading things like this one, Raisin in the Sun. So this is where he's at 11 years old.
And I
Um,
was, I think we read that in 10th grade.
yeah, a lot of high schoolers, or I want to say later middle schoolers, like eighth grade or whatnot, they're reading this, but or they should be reading it. But he's reading it now, so yeah, I just think reading is really important, right? Making sure they have that number sense is very important. We're really big on math these days now, so we're a huge numbers people. But no, it's been a joy, since that time period for sure. So yeah.
Nice. Walk us through a day. What's your schedule look like in a day?
Whew. Well, so now we are on the unschooling, road schooling side of things, if that makes any sense. I know everyone has like their own pedagogy they follow. So that's the side that we're on, and every day is honestly different. Right now he's sleeping. He's sleeping right now. He is also actually a working actor now as well. So once he does get up, he's going to be going over some rehearsal stuff. And then we're going to do a little bit of reading. We did some math yesterday. We have online classes with Friends of Cabrini, where right now we're going through like middle school math. So we're doing Algebra 1, we're doing geometry, um, things of that nature. He does books, book reports, and things of that nature as well, essay writing. So it's a combination of different things. Sometimes we'll be out on the go. It depends on the day. Like yesterday, we had to film all day here in the city, so we didn't really quite get the learning, academic piece in, but we did get the learning for his career and profession stuff in. So that was fun. We do field trips as well. We travel, which I highly recommend to anyone. So I can't say quite one particular day, because
Of
every
course.
day is different. But I just want people to get a full scope of just don't picture it as like you're going to do the same thing every day. You're not, right? You got to follow the rhythm of your child and what they're interested in. So one day your kid might just want to do science experiments all day long, and that's totally fine, right? Working on some experiments is totally fine. And then the next day, you might just want to read and chill out and play with some Legos, and that's cool too, you know?
Yeah, no, that's why I asked the a day. Like, take us through a day. Because I know all our days differ, but I
Yeah.
have my two non-negotiable is writing affirmations and reading every day. So those are the two things that no matter what else we do, I know that they're gonna do those two things. So
Yeah. I think if I had to say there's two things for sure we do, I would say it's definitely something is always connected to math. So within this last year or so, I would say something is always connected to math, and then there's always a conversation about something. So
nice. Do
some life.
are y'all a part of any co-ops or anything?
No, I mean, well, we have our stuff with Friends of Cabrini, of
Mm-hmm.
course. But no, we never actually fully did a co-op. We've done a lot more of things where I would organize things and then invite other homeschoolers to come out. So, like, we have a field trip coming up next month where other homeschoolers are invited. We're going to go to the theater, and just kind of hang out at the theater and see plays and things like that. We go to museums and things of that nature. At this point, I am no longer like doing the full on teaching,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes any sense. In the beginning, it was kind of like giving instruction to everything. Now he's more of an independent learner, so he's able to learn the things that he's really interested in and investing in that. And then I have decided to outsource as well for some of the more, I want to say, technical science related things. I kind of take the lead with guiding him through things that I know is my strong suit. But when it comes to things like art, he has an art school he goes to, called Marwin, which is really great. They offer free programs. He does music. He has a music school that he goes to as well. He's got a mentor. in STEM. So he's into like all of the engineering things. And then of course with acting, he's doing his thing there. So yeah, that's kind of where we are now in life.
Nice. So y'all have like community everywhere,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
Nice.
you gotta find it, right? You gotta definitely search for it. So, not saying that co-ops are not good. I think they are. They are helpful, but I think that once your child gets to a space where I guess maybe when they're more of an independent learner and they kind of know exactly what it is like they want to do. For me, I have found that it's better to just invest in those things, right? So you're not really wasting any time, and that's pretty much what unschooling is really about. The child's interest in learning those things. So he picks up like skills in other areas, but we always talk about how if he's going to do something or take on a class or opportunity for something, how is that going to benefit him, later on in life into the things that he's fully interested in. And so he's found a way to navigate all of those things.
Nice. Are y'all using any like set curriculum? Are you creating your own curriculum?
He's the curriculum. To tell you the truth, he's the curriculum. There's really no set curriculum. I know a lot of people like to ask that question. We Yeah, he's the curriculum. Like we have things that we use. So like I have here this book here. It's everything that you need to know. In this one big fat notebook. These are really great. We have started using these earlier in this year, and we have them in just every subject. As you can see, it's history. We have math and algebra and things of that nature, but no real set curriculum. He'll read over those things and kind of look at the notes and do some of the questions, and then we kind of pair it up with some videos that we might find, or because that's my strong suit area, I'll just talk to him about it and we do lessons. Again, I teach over at Math Circles of Chicago as well. So he takes classes there, which is more advanced math classes, and they're really fun. Um, and so, yeah, no particular curriculum. It's really just all that he's interested into doing. His main things are, I'll say, his sweet spots are primarily with acting and with engineering. So he's got himself, where he's taught himself 3D printing. He is actually designed like his own little toys and
Oh,
things like
nice.
that. He's gotten a 3D printer, and it's really just more like self-taught, and then we just kind of connect with professionals in those particular fields, and they kind of help with mentoring them and taking them from there. So yeah, we finally hit that space like in his education, where I don't necessarily have to be like so hands-on. I can kind of just sit back and just be like, okay, and
Mhm.
learning and just watching him go and seeing how amazing it is. But in the beginning, it definitely was a lot more hands-on, and
Mhm.
now not so much.
How did y'all fall into the unschooling pedagogy? Like, okay, this fits us more than any other of the other sets.
Again, I think accidental too. Before COVID, like before that official mark of when COVID started, 2020, I want to say like 2019, we had started doing our traveling piece where we went to like some of the closer cities that's closer to where we are. And we were just like, oh, we can do this and we can do this and do this. And then it just kind of became a thing. It just fell into our lap. It made more sense for me. I was kind of like, I'm working and I'm homeschooling him and everything. And I got tired of the commute. I wanted to be more at home with my son, and being able to homeschool him again, like more full time instead of like breaking up our learning hours. And so unschooling just seemed to fit better. We can focus on the things that he's interested in. We can travel a lot more, right? There's peace in that. I can like own my own schedule and set it up how I want my own personal schedule to be, and he can do the same thing. So that's pretty much how we honestly just kind of did it. It was just like right place, right time. And I think when COVID happened, that was like even better because, now it's like no one has to go to work, you don't have to commute anymore. You get to stay at home and be with your babies. And I kind of was dying for that a little bit. So it made sense for us to do it then.
Nice, nice. Okay, and so with all this experience, with what you had been doing with your own, you decided to create Friends of Cabrini.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, that was also around the same time period as well. I started out with my son, of course, and a couple of friends' kids. They kind of really encouraged me. They saw what I was doing with my son, and they wanted me to kind of repeat it and do the same thing with their kids. And I was like, okay, I guess this could be a little thing here. And with the help of them encouraging me and a couple of family members, we just kind of blossomed. And I thought it would be more fit for it to be online because kids can do it from the comfort of their own home, you know. And parents can always, like how we are sitting right here, parents can always sit in and watch and see how things go. And for me, I like to show the kids things, but while I'm showing them, I'm also showing the parents too. Like, this is how you can instruct your little one and show them different things, and then they can take it from there, you know, just do their thing from there.
Okay, so Friends of Cabrini, is it meant more so for the kids or for okay, for the
It
kids?
is for the kids, but I do a little extra add in myself. Like again, if parents are
Like
listening,
workshops?
no, just like even in just right there in whatever the class is, you know. So like I have a student now who I'm doing math with. One student I'll say we're doing math together and I'm literally telling the parents like, "Hey, you're sitting right here. I want you to know this is how you can instruct him on doing this and this." And he's in 4th grade right now, but he's
Mm.
learning, you know, middle school math. And when he first got to me, the parents were like, "Oh, he couldn't multiply. He couldn't do this. He couldn't do that." Now we're shifting gears. He's doing everything that the other kids can do. So, yeah, no, they get it right then and there too. No
Okay,
extra
not
gift vibes. I'm generous.
okay. So, are you teaching all subjects or just focusing on math? Ooh,
So right now we're doing math and history classes over at Friends of Cabrini, and we do have a geography class that's coming for the summer as well. So yes,
okay, math. You said
math and history. So
okay, and
math
then geography is being added.
and geography, yes.
Okay, cool. And are these set times weekly or is this based off of whoever signs up?
Yeah, so it's currently set times right now. More classes will be added based off the interests of the parents. So that's kind of how we assign other classes. Before in the past, we've had like ELA classes when parents have asked for it. We've had coding when parents have asked for it. And then we set up a particular time. And if this particular time block, you know, works for the family, then that's what we're doing. Usually, generally, most of the classes are about an hour long. So we always pick some time between Monday through Friday. Very, very few times I think I will say that we've had Saturday classes. Primarily for Saturdays, we've left that to be like for our book clubs. Friday nights we have a Roblox club, so kids get on and they play Roblox for 2 hours for that one. But yeah, no, as far as classes in particular, we usually try to have them midday in the mornings, Monday through Friday. You know, at a decent hour that works. Their kids are alert, they're awake, they have their breakfast, they can work on whatever the project is, and then we're done, you know. So yeah, it's really fun.
Okay. Have you ever thought about like doing a micro school? Because sounds like, you kind of
Yeah.
in that direction.
Yeah, I think I'm accidentally getting guided into that. So yeah, that is a thought right now, that's happening. Just want to, you know, make sure we make the right decision for that as well. So yes.
Okay. So what else? What are other components of Friends of Cabrini besides the classes?
Okay. So our tutoring, of course, is something else
Hmm.
that we offer. Now, if you are locally in the Chicago area, we do have in-person tutoring. But for others, of course, that are like, say, North Carolina, you would do online with us as well. And all of our sessions are interactive. I try to do a lot of like I want to say I try to target all of the different learning styles, right? Because every child doesn't learn the same. So for some kids that might be more visual learners, we have more like visual games and things of that nature that help them to retain the information. For some kids that like to do note taking, there's always a whiteboard at hand. Um, and when we do a lot of projects, as you can see, there's some stuff behind me.
Hmm.
So we do a lot of that kind of work as well. Kids get on poster boards and they kind of prove their mathematical mathematical thinking, and then they explain how, certain things are what they are and whatnot, and give them projects to do it with. So it's really fun. So that's for tutoring, very interactive, enrichment based, I guess you would say as well. And then, of course, like for children who might have some type of learning delays or maybe more like diverse learners, I like to speak with the families first, to really understand exactly what it is that the students' needs are. And then after that, figure out how we can target those things. So I've been able to successfully guide children along the way through a lot of their academic goals, especially those kids that have come to me from like public schools. They've been moved a lot, which is really great. And I've been able to have students that I've worked with for like maybe 2, 3 years now. And it's wonderful having those relationships. So that's really great too. Again, we do have clubs. We currently have our Roblox club, as I mentioned earlier. It's every Friday night at 6:30 Central Time, I should say. And then we have our book clubs. We've had that going on since 2020. We have so many books. A lot of parents can tell you about that. And then we currently have a new debate club that we're actually doing this year for the first time. And that's fun as well. We have those on Mondays. So the kids get to debate about different topics. They've done everything from cloning to superheroes and everything in between there. So it's really fun. They get to learn, of course, like how to speak eloquently, right? Debate the facts and the topics without being super emotional and staying on target. And those are key skills that they're going to take later on in life and apply them, of course, in whatever professions they hope to get into. So yeah.
I love that. You are offering so much. You just reminded me about the Roblox because I had pulled up the form and it got lost in the sauce of my 2,000 other windows that I have open. But I got to revisit that with my girls because I never really got a chance to talk to them and ask them if they
Yeah.
want to be a part. But that's their thing. So they be
Yes,
playing the little
Roblox
dress
is,
to impress. And it's
yep.
like, that's, yes, that's their
Yes.
thing. So,
That's the top game
um,
that the kids love. So yes,
yes,
that's
you
really
just reminded me. And then you have debate. My oldest was in debate towards the end of last year. We didn't stick with it. Of course, we got on the road, so I have to see what she wants to do with that. But okay, I love that you are
fun.
offering so many different like opportunities for community building
Right.
opportunities. And
Yes.
these are open for homeschool families as well as people who have kids in traditional school settings. It's open
Yeah.
for anyone basically with the
Yeah.
times that you're offering them.
Yes, absolutely. Most of our kids this particular year in the Roblox Club are pretty much just all homeschoolers. We
Mhm.
have had a couple of public school students in the past have come into that particular club. And then same thing for the book club. The book clubs have been really great too because a lot of kids don't really get a chance to like read, just in general on their own without, I guess, being forced to. Right. But I usually like the kid or like to ask the kids like what kind of books they would like to read. So for example, like last year, I don't know if you've heard of Jason Reynolds. He's one of the like best African American authors there is today. He has a series called the Track Series. And so I kind of started with just introducing the kids to the first book in that series, which is called Ghost. And then from there, they loved it, right? They were able to learn about Usain Bolt and Flojo and so many other track amazing Olympians and whatnot. And we ended up reading the whole entire series and they loved it. It's
Oh,
one of my favorites that I recommend to any child that's a reader that loves sports. So yeah, we do a lot of great things with the book clubs. We also give them digital download sheets where they kind of can go through the reading comprehension. So let's say if you have a child who loves to read, but they're struggling with skills like inferring and summarizing, they have the opportunity to practice those skills in our book club. And it's a bi-weekly book club as well. So yeah, it's been fun. We've had a lot of different different reads and we do a lot of cool projects too as well. So all of those things are posted on our website for pictures and on social media. So yeah.
what's the age ranges?
So book club, the the older group, should I say, is 10 to 14, and then we have a younger group that's 7 to 10. The younger group is more like our, I want to say, not quite early readers, but they're, still learning and becoming accustomed to like chapter books and things like that. So we might start them off with books by Kelly Starling Lyons, like Miles Lewis series, the Jada Jones series. Those are two other ones I really love. Um, and then we'll kind of go through there. We do a lot of nonfiction. We do animal books. So for kids that might like animal books, they might read The One and Only Ivan, which is a great story, and that's a whole series. For kids that love nonfictions, if they're on the older side, we'll do again books kind of like this one, or we have the Malcolm X book here. I'll actually show you these. So these are like two that the kids did. And I know a lot of people are probably like, a 10-year-old can't read this, or, a 12-year-old can't read this. But again, you'd be surprised they do read it. And I do actually also tell the parents, like, read along with them, because a lot of parents have not read these either, right? So
Right.
these are real things that's happening in the world still today, and still
I
prevalent.
was gonna say it's wild to
Yeah.
like Malcolm X is so relevant
Yeah.
today as it was in the 60s and 70s is crazy.
Yes, yes. And his book is actually one, I think, that's like a top book for any just African American male child to read. So I would recommend it for any parent. Once your kid gets about like double digits, put that book right in front of them. Even if you got to do it 2 or 3 times, if you got to read it and come back to it and read it again, that's totally fine. But you want them to really become accustomed with reading it. Again, there's a lot of adults that still haven't read it. So it's definitely a good reading piece. They can definitely learn from it so much. It's so rich, right? And it's so much that they can kind of really still relate to now, and then they'll continue possibly to see things that they can understand, right, from the book as they grow and get older. So yeah.
Indeed, indeed. Friends of Cabrini. And Cabrini is your son.
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
Cabrini is your son?
No,
Or
no,
no?
no. So our neighborhood that I grew up in is Cabrini Greens, and we're
Oh,
here in
okay.
Chicago. So yes.
Oh,
No.
whole time I've always thought it was your son. Okay.
No. No, yes. So if you're familiar with the Chicago area, Cabrini Gardens was one of the legendary old neighborhoods. It's now changed and it's all new, but my family and friends and we've kind of grew up in this community, and we do a lot with giving back to this area. So that's what kind of inspired me to give the name. Yeah.
Yes. And Chicago youth need it, honey, because
Yeah.
the things that be happening on the internet. I don't know, but I will say, and I tell people that when I visited Chicago, not last year, but the year before, beautiful experience. It was beautiful there. It was fall time. I came for a conference and stayed for my birthday, and it was just amazing. The energy in general. Like we found a cute little tea shop, we found a bookstore, we found just a lot of great vibes, a lot of
Yeah.
great vibes. But when you talk to someone who's from Chicago, they be like, ah, it's real out here. Like,
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
trenches.
there's the good and bad, right? With
Of
like anything
course.
that you would visit. I would say in order to really get a good feel for it, it's like how you said, you have to come here to like
Yeah.
really see it. Don't believe everything that you see on the internet. We have a lot of great spots. We have a lot of spots that's not even always showcased, right? In a lot of different neighborhoods. Hyde Park is one of the best neighborhoods here in the city. Lincoln Park is another, Beverly. So you just kind of gotta go around. Once you come, you go around, you see things, right? Be mindful, of course, right? Safety is number one, but no, don't believe everything that you see on social media,
Yes.
on the
But
internet.
that's
It's
what I
not.
was getting to because, like,
Yeah.
by all means, the media definitely portrays Chicago in
Oh,
the most terrible light, but I will tell you from my experience of going there, it is a place that I will definitely revisit time and time again because it's beautiful there, especially in the fall, like when the leaves are
Yeah.
changing and stuff. And it's like, I don't know, it's beautiful though. And we will be there, I think June 14th. Don't quote me on it, guys. Look on the website, but I feel like that's the date for Chicago. And looking forward to it. I won't come in the
Yeah.
wintertime though, yeah, that's for that.
Summertime,
Yeah.
summertime sky is definitely amazing.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
beautiful, so you definitely want to make sure you get out on the water, enjoy yourself. But yes,
Yes, but
Chicago.
how is like as far as the resources that are available for the youth there? Is it a real resourceful place? Because I know you're
Yeah.
inventing things, and I know I've talked to other individuals that have created some resourceful things for the youth. But how is it? Like, are our youth able to stay busy there?
Yes, I think so. To be honest, I think so. I think it's just a matter of if they want to, right?
Or
You know,
being introduced to it,
ex-
maybe, not knowing that it's
exactly.
available.
Exactly. I think it's a matter of those things. There are, like, for example, with my son, he's taking classes over at one of the local high schools, which is where I've been teaching math circles at. And I guess it's considered one of the best public high schools, right? But of course, he's not getting the public education curriculum. He's getting the curriculum that we do over at math circles there. So he's able to learn advanced math right alongside with some of those high schoolers that actually attend the school full time. And then you have, the colleges as well. The colleges offer classes and things that the students can take. I'm sure you've seen maybe kind of publicized all over the news about a homeschooler. She graduated with like her MBA and things like that. I think she's like 17. So it's lots of opportunities. You really just have to find it, right?
And
For us,
then,
it was really more so just a matter of being resourceful and just searching. My son, at one point, he was interested in doing basketball training. Just got on the internet and we found something. We found a great program and with great coaches and everything. Again, he told me he wanted to explore more with art. I was like, okay, let's see what we can do there. Now he's taking classes at the Art Institute downtown, which is one of the best museums here also. So there's tons of things. You just have to really look for it. But I also
mhm.
think that it also depends on your child's interest, like if they really want it or not. And like you said, if you're willing to introduce them to it. So that's probably maybe more of a parenting and a personal thing, than it is
Yeah.
of an academic thing. But the resources are here for sure.
How did your son find his way to acting?
That's a natural thing. You would have to ask him. You would have to ask him. We actually was that a year or 2 years ago? I want to say almost 2 years ago now. He decided that he wanted to take some of the homeschool art based classes that they had over at the Kroc Center, which is on the
Hmm.
south side of Chicago. And another resource here for people that don't know. They actually offer like art, music, guitar, like PE, swimming. They offer all of those things there at the Kroc Center, and I think they offer it at some of the other ones outside of Chicago, by the way, and other cities as well. So we took classes there. He fell in love with it. He was already kind of doing his own little skits and things at home, but I think just being on the stage kind of just let him like, oh yeah, this is, he had the little moment, like this is my thing.
Right.
And he's done a couple of like community theater plays and things of that nature. He's done well. And then we found our way to the big leagues. So that's where he's at now. Can't quite tell you all the projects that he's working on, but he is working on projects that are currently being filmed and going out to your local TV stations on NBC 5. So
Nice.
he's working with major productions and things of that nature. So he is a working actor. And it's been fun. He's been meeting so many amazing people. We've met Felicia Rashad. who really like encouraged him a whole lot. Just loved her. We've met so many different directors in the theater side, the television film side. So it's just really amazing to see him kind of follow his dreams and things of that nature. He's hoping to work with Samuel Jackson. So
Oh, goals. What's his acting name so we know who we're looking for?
just Justice Smith. So
Okay.
yeah, so he's hoping to work with Samuel L. Jackson in the hopefully near future before he
Yes,
retires.
he will. He will do it. Yes. Okay, Justice. We about to be Googling him and finding him. Yes, I love that. Okay, so with all that you do as far as homeschooling, world schooling, or because you travel and all that good stuff, then you have
Yeah.
everything that you created with Friends of Cabrini, and then you teaching at the math circle. How do you ensure that you self-care? Like you take time
Mm,
for Jalisa?
mm, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm learning. I will say
Okay.
that. I'm learning, and I have decided to officially start practicing too, right?
Okay.
So, I've had people tell me over the years, like, you got to take care of yourself. Number one, you're not going to be good to anyone else if you're not good to yourself. Trying to make sure like I don't take on too much, you know. Again, I love educating children and working with children. And then of course I have my own child, right? So being able to know like when I need rest is important.
Mhm.
Taking a break is important. For me, I've recently started this year making an effort intentionally to doing things. So every month I have something now where I'm going to do something for myself, even if it's something as small as manicure and pedicure or going on a solo date, you know, or just going outside, read a book, catch some fresh air. I'm just going to do that thing, whatever that thing is. I think for me, you know, not having not done it before, but simply just being told and now practicing it is really important. So I would say starting off with being intentional, right? Making sure that you know for sure you're going to do this and put that time in there, whether it's a monthly thing, whether it's a weekly thing, however you do it. I would encourage parents to do that. And then just, yeah, taking up that little block of space for yourself, right? Breathing is important in everything you do. Learning how to say no, I think is good too. Yeah, right. Again, I love working with kids. I really do. But I gotta learn how to say no sometimes so I can just have the 5 minutes to think or, you know, a day or whatever to think. So yeah.
Keeping
So
our plate not as full.
right, right. And it's hard, you know?
It
It's
is.
hard. Like when you're an entrepreneur, your mindset is on how can I help other people? How can I serve other people, you know? And so for me, that's how I'm thinking. I'm always thinking, okay, how can I serve someone else, you know? Especially when you've built a relationship with the family, with the child. It's like you don't want to say no. You gotta say
Right.
every now and then. And then when you're chasing your dreams too, that's the other thing, right? So I'm like I'm chasing my own, but then I'm helping my son and supporting him into chasing his. And again, it's tough, but I'm just gonna say so far this year I've been intentional. So I would encourage people to be intentional and then just really know how to say no when you've hit your limit. I think that's
Yeah.
important.
Yes, I know. It is a such thing as caring too much. Like you don't know it until you out back and you all like sickly because
Yeah.
you've been neglecting yourself and making sure everyone else is taken care of.
Oh, yeah, for
It
sure.
is a thing. It is a thing. And I always say if you don't take care of that body gonna take care of you because it's gonna
You.
shut down on you. It's gonna be like, you know what? I'm not getting up today. Oh, you thought we was getting up? We not. We not. So yes, I have tried to make it a point now, to ask about your self-care because I feel like it's a priority, not an option.
Yeah.
So I feel like everyone should know, like, oh, okay, this is another way I could take time for myself or make space for myself, by
Yeah.
doing this. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. And before
You're
I let
welcome.
you go, I need three things if tell these parents, if you don't leave anything, if you didn't hear anything else that I've said, I need you to take this with you.
Three things. Ooh, this is tough. Um, well, I probably didn't say this first one, but I would say my number one is to always have faith. So have faith in what you're doing, right? You signed up to be a homeschooler for a reason. So trust that. So have faith that you will be successful and your child will be successful, and trust your path. Going with that, number two, being consistent. I think I have learned to be consistent. If there's one area in life that I know I've been 100% solid on, I think it's this, right? Unschooling and parenting kind of go hand in hand. And for me, I look at it like I'm not going to fail God and I'm not going to fail my child. So being consistent is my thing. So having faith, consistency, and what is my third? Hmm. Ooh, this is a good question. I would say I'm between like wanting to say like discipline and being intentional.
You
Maybe that
just
might
said
go
both.
together.
Do them both.
Maybe that might go together somehow. So, um, yeah, that's my three, four.
Okay. Discipline, be disciplined and act on intention or be
Yeah.
intentional with your actions.
Yeah, definitely. Because your kids are watching you,
Yeah.
and you want them to grow up to be honorable people and to move with integrity. So that's something that we do. Again, like you asked earlier, what are like the two things that you always do every day? We do math, and then we have life conversations about what have you. I don't know if you probably heard him trying to walk around now. He's up, but but we have conversations about life because I want him to be honest. I want him to have integrity, have good character, right? So those things, just those things, those are things that he's not going to learn in a book, right? He's just going to learn by doing life. um so yeah, be intentional about that, I guess, and be disciplined, be focused.
Yes, yes. Where do we find Friends of Cabrini?
Online at www.friendsofcabrini.com, and Cabrini is spelled Cabrini. Also on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. We do have a Twitter as well. So all of those social media platforms as well.
Indeed. And the links will be available in the description. Definitely. I appreciate you and all that you have created and all that you continue to create
Thank you.
for our families, for these little people to grow up and be their best selves. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. This is so
Of
fun.
course.
And I
Yes.
look forward to seeing you at the expo when you guys come. So I want to make sure I'm there for the Chicago one. And then I think I want to try to get the Milwaukee and the Detroit one too. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. We got to get you as a speaker. We're about to talk. Hold on.
Yes.
But yes, so families, remember that this is not a journey to be done alone. Tap into the resources that are available. We have a lot of virtual resources. Friends of Cabrini is virtual, so you do not have to be a local in Chicago to access or to utilize. So be sure you just tap into what it is that you need. Set it up. You don't have to know it all because there are other ones that do know what you don't know. So just know how to research and find what it is that the support that you need in your educational journey. But always and forever, remember, homeschool your kids. That's